Why do people still make excuses for slavery? I think we know the answer. We talk about race a lot on this show, but thanks to our current election cycle, apparently, we have to go back to the beginning to shed some light on the myths people use to justify slavery. Never thought I'd have to say that. Excuse number 1. Slaves were well fed, aka the Bill O'Reilly defense. Michelle Obama took a moment during her epic DNC speech to remind everyone that the first family wakes up in a house built by slaves every day, which succinctly drove home the point of how far we've come when it comes to race in America. She also unknowingly cleared the stage for Fox News host and human fart bag Bill O'Reilly to defend slavery. He said that the slaves who helped build the White House were housed and well fed. This argument is similar to some masters treated their slaves well, or being a house slave wasn't so bad. But here's the thing. This argument is immaterial, as in it doesn't matter. These people were stolen from their homes and families and enslaved. If aliens abducted your brother, sister, and favorite uncle and stuck a feeding tube down their throats while forcing them to build their emperor's house, would you think, well, at least the aliens fed my family? I don't think so. Excuse number 2. Slaves were happy to have work. Look, you wouldn't forgo a day's pay just because your boss brought in some cupcakes, but you want me to believe that slaves were thankful for the racist undermining of their body, mind, and soul? Newsflash, although you might hate your job, slavery isn't employment. It wasn't voluntary, and it has no comparison to working at a job. Being forcibly taken from your home, put in shackles on a disease-infested ship, and forced to do hard labor from sunrise to sunset is not the same thing as clocking in at Starbucks, okay? Employment is a voluntary position that results in a negotiated paycheck that you can use however you want. Slavery is forced labor. You have no autonomy, no pay, and are subjected to unspeakable violence at the hands of people who undermine and devalue your basic humanity. Excuse number 3. Well, America wasn't the only country that had slavery. It's historically 100% correct that many different types of people have been enslaved all over the world. Brazil, for example, has a heinous history of slavery, and the majority of Africans in the transatlantic slave trade were sent there. But that doesn't mean you can excuse American slavery by comparison. Even if slavery was common practice when America was doing it, it doesn't make it right. Slavery is bad. And it was always bad, everywhere, no matter who's doing it. Excuse number 4. Well, the Irish in America were slaves too. No, they were not. We actually already covered this. Take a look. And high five to us for having so much foresight. We knew y'all would try to use this one again. Class, let's say this one together. Persecution is bad, but not the same as slavery. Excuse number 5. Africans sold their own people into slavery. This one is also historically true, but that doesn't absolve European and American slavery or make it okay. It just means that West Africans also have a history to reckon with, just like us, and every modern celebrity that thinks blackface is a joke. And look, all of this is kind of weird considering that most families living in America today immigrated here after slavery was made illegal. And even when it was legal, only a tiny percentage of people ever owned slaves. So why does anyone still try and excuse or downplay slavery? We've got some theories and they cut pretty deep. Many of our founding fathers and the people most likely to have had the means to have owned slaves are mythologized as great and pure leaders, and admitting the horribleness of slavery means admitting that white supremacy was an important part of our nation's origin. And while slavery officially ended 150 years ago, it informed the next 150 years of systemic racism and equality that still plagues us today. The blatant forms of racism we still see today, from disenfranchising black voters to police brutality, are rooted in the fact that people were brought here against their will and treated like they were subhuman. But our country has never really reckoned with it. We have a Holocaust museum in Washington, D.C. because the world forced Germany to answer for the atrocities that they subjected Jewish people to and millions of other ethnic groups during World War II, and it serves as a permanent reminder of that fact. Meanwhile, we don't have a national museum dedicated to exploring slavery because America keeps trying to sweep it under the proverbial rug and insist that generations of African Americans couldn't possibly be affected by slavery in the long term, even though the exact opposite is proven true. We can't keep ignoring and mythologizing slavery just because facing it head on makes us feel bad. Part of the healing comes from facing it. The other part of the healing comes from turning off Bill O'Reilly, but that's a totally different video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on Decoded.